Emerging technologies for net zero power sector, focusing on decarbonization. I would like to invite the moderator for this session, Ms. Reena Suri. We have a few presentations on AI use cases in power sector. For the presentations, I would like to invite Dr. Murli Bagu from NREL. Mr. Murli Bagu, welcome, sir. Mr. Sumit Gupta, CEO, Asset Plus. Welcome, Mr. Gupta. Mr. S.K. Senapati, L&T PT&D Digital Energy Solutions. He's the Head Sales and Commercial Services. Welcome, Mr. Senapati. Yeah, Mr. Lalit Jain from Phoenix. Mr. Lalit Jain? Yes. In the panel discussion, we have Mr. Bhavani Singh from MD MVVNL. Mr. Mukesh Dadij, Head Business Development, Sustainability and Clean Technology, BSES Yamuna Power Limited. Welcome, Mr. Dadij. Srimati Tripta Thakur, DG NPTI. Shri R.S. Salam, VP Technology, Stelmac. Mr. Ayush Kumar, CEO, Sai Computers. Mr. Sandeep Sinha, Vice President, Sales, Trilliant. Shri Anish Mandal, Partner, Deloitte. And I would like to welcome our chair for the session, Mr. Pankaj Kumar, MD, UPPCL.
Sorry, we are running a bit late, so we're not getting enough time to set up. But I really appreciate your patience with us and staying back with us. This is the last session, and I know we are in between the gala evening reception, and but this is the most crucial session, talking about emerging technologies for net zero power sector. And to start the session and set the context, I have the pleasure of requesting our chair for the session, Shri Pankaj Kumar ji, Managing Director, UPPCL. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Reena ji. Good evening, everyone. I know it's late in the evening, but I think this session primarily focuses on how we can leverage the technology. And as very few eminent speakers said, that this sector still needs a lot of technological interventions which need to be adopted and also spread across and used extensively on both the sides, the consumer as well as the utility side. So with that very preliminary remark, I'll request Reena to take us through the session. We can start with the presentations, I believe.
Thank you so much, Akaji, for your chairperson's remarks. We were to show a small short presentation on innovations, but I think due to paucity of time, we will skip that and move straight away to the presentations that we have lined up on the emerging new technologies. May I have the pleasure of inviting to start with Sri Murli Bagu, Laboratory Program Director, Grid Integration, NREL, USA. Over to you, Ms. Bagu. I request all our presenters to please, follow the time. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please give a round of applause to Mr. Bagu. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll try to keep this quick in the interest of time. Can you guys get the presentation up? Awesome.
Please play the PPT of Mr. Murli Bagu for emerging technologies. Yeah, I think that's so. Is that one?
This is for a different session here. Different session here.
No, this is for the tomorrow session.
Yes.
Ashima?
You know, go with the next one. I'll go down.
You can start talking and then, is that okay? Or should
Yeah.
I invite someone else for it?
Yeah, I can help figure it out. Yeah.
We'll just wait. Ashima, I think we will invite Mr. Sumit Gupta, CEO Asset Plus, to start his presentation. And in the meantime, Mr. Babu's presentation will find out.
Yeah, thank you,
Over to you, Ms. Gupta, but
yeah.
please, we have positive time. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
I'll keep it short and good evening, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. In fact, if you look at, we did the first machine learning commercial engagement in India, the first one in 2019. It was done by the support of Mr. P.R. Kumar, then CEO BACS. So that's a journey which we started way back in. Did you launch the presentation up? And then in the morning hours, our AC sir has mentioned about Powerthon. We are the one, we are the from the first lot of Powerthon and the best outcome of in AT&C losses in India. We brought it down from 47% to 18% for Rajasthan in the JV winner. So we awarded the first prize of the Powerthon first batch of 2022. And then we are also one of those which sir has mentioned, Dr. Ashish sir has mentioned in the morning, that he has given chance to few startups to work in UP to design and show outcomes, and we are one of them. So that's where we are over here to showcase the outcome. And what I'm going to share about is predominantly these AI engagement, how it is essential for our Indian utilities, which has been implemented in last 6 years, what has been the outcomes and how it can be taken up for implementation at different utilities. And so typically what I'm trying to cover is there are various aspects. When you look around the initial current journey, it is about the part of how and what way. So I skip on that and I skip on these perspectives. So what I'm looking, this is all I'm skipping over here in the interest of time. What we are looking at is the use cases which has actually made the Indian utilities very stronger, and which is around how and what way we can look at part of augmenting the meter reading. We all know that meter reading journey has gone up from the part of where we are looking at a manual. Today we are looking involving some technology like OCR, but then OCR work under the part of certain environment where AI is something different. And I'm going to show that by part of the outcomes which are there. Second is how can we look at part of the theft which is there, and that theft can tell about from the meter images, and then it can help in defining the priority of where the smart meters have to be rolled. So that means you get a revenue earning from there. Instead of just planning out a smart meter rollout for a region, you are able to look at part of where it has to be done. Third is the what Yogesh sir was mentioning about, and it's a very important question, is MI and CI, which is today the meter reader who goes down is a 12th pass guy who just go and put the meter over there. Whether the MI is done correctly or the CI is done correctly, AI, how it's trying to help. It is done in part of Jaipur Discom. How it's been done, we want to show that to you. And then how meter can use, smart meter data can use for the part of theft. How smart metering can actually, data from SCADA can help in part of the PT and DT aspect. Plus, how AI intervention can help Pradhan Mantri Solar Grah Yojana. So I'll skip some of them and bring down the part of the key one aspect which is there. And this is where the landscape of private and the state government entities which we have worked in the last 6 years, and they have been turning the fruits of this particular AI intervention. So there is something at the meter, we say, and this meter, we look in part of current landscape, there would be plethora of type of meter which we are working in, and we can't get the part of our AT&C loss reduction till the time we actually bring in part of all three kind of meters existing in the same ecosystem till the time we get into one particular level. And then there is second thing is part of after the meter we do the collection efficiency. Both the level, bringing part of AI interventions actually is helping. And now I'm going to show you something. This is a meter image. If your OCR will read, it will also read you something which you can see from your eyes and read. But if an AI will read, AI will tell you that this is the dot over there. This is AI. AI start predicting. AI start trying to build it part of it. It's just not a part of OCR, it's a part of prediction. I'll give you another one. Can you look at this? OCR will go blind on this completely, straight forward, say no, wipe me up and then say, if AI is there, it's going to predict out and say this is a reading over there. This is what is called mastery in this. This is what been used in the level of field where the discoms can today, with the current meters can leverage and use this. I got another picture I'm going to show you. Look at this. Can we really make out from my meter reader can make it out and say what is this? He cannot. But AI can tell you that this is there's also a dot over there. This dot is very dangerous. If the one dot is missed, what morning sir was talking about, it can actually go to the part of a bill which a person will never pay. It will come as part of my arrear. And then the losses which are very, again, we are chasing for the concern for the area which is there. So this particular thing is AI, my dear friends, not the OCR. OCR has been done, we're listening for the last 40 years, but it can only read the characters, but cannot do. Second part, in the current meters environment which we have, how do we look at part of meter health and condition? Same. Now in our, all utilities have an RMS system installed. The meter reader goes to the place, takes a meter and come back to the part of. That meter image can really translate and tell the part of what is the story at the consumer end. And this is what this try to look at. Various aspects it can take and tell. This is the way we helped one of the state utilities to come over and reduce 10 to 15% of billing efficiency was been improved, my dear friends. That's the power of AI. AI talks about the part of, जैसे हमारी निगाहें देखती हैं और हमें किसी को देखना है तो हम उसको पहचान लेते हैं कई भी जगहों से. सेम वे यहाँ पर जो है वो कैसे हम ट्रेन कर रहे हैं. दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग वी हैव ट्रेन in the state utility of Jaipur. There were 50 variants of meter. Look at the part of the meter was modeled around 1 million type of scenarios, so that अगर मीटर पे कलई भी लगी हुई है, जो कि चूना बोलते हैं हम लोग यूपी में, मैं इलाहाबाद का आदमी हूं तो मैं कलई बोलता हूं, और अगर उस पे अगर डस्ट भी है, how is my predictions happening out and just trying to come and tell. My RMS guy goes and bring the meter images from there. We can run a bulk image modeling to tell which are the image conditions are burned, which are where the not displays coming in, so that we can look at these cases to be replaced with smart meters there itself, so that I can always look in priority of getting my revenue first. This is what defines the case for business case for my smart meters and transitioning for using the AI, my dear friends. This is where RMS input output. And the next part is when I have plugged the consumer, I have got my billing enhanced, I have to chase it for the part of my collection. Now, how can I chase for the part of collection? That's where, again, AI comes in over here, where you're trying to predict the behavior of the consumer each and every billing cycle. आज मेरे 1.5 लाख कंज्यूमर हुए हैं, उनका prediction आया सुबह, और उन कंज्यूमर पे वो कहाँ पे लाई कर रहे हैं, so that I can look in part of chasing them and get them back. I know in UP we are 7 days, we are in Delhi we are 15 days, but then I cannot wait for the part of 1 month when the data comes back. So today whatever is done, if you are chasing back, each and every day output, you are getting a collection efficiency improved by 10 to 15% proven down, which has been impacted in part of total AT&C, my dear friends. This is power of AI. This is what can be done in the current stage where it does not limit itself, says कि मैं कहाँ पर हूँ, कैसे हूँ. It's about the thought, it's about the part of thinking, it's about how we go in. Another important thing, when we try to go out, because this gives the part of what smart meters we have to put. Now we're putting a smart meters. The problem is the बंदे ने जो लगाया है वो कक्षा 10 का पास है, तो उसका सही लगाया नहीं लगाया है. Here it's done for one of the state utilities 3 years back, where the MI has been checked by the part of the meter which has been pulled out, that meter condition, what has been there, and the meter put what the condition is there for that. Second, third part, the CI, whether CI is done correctly or not on the part of DT to consumer, आप देखेंगे, using part of the DT consumer indexing by proximity analysis, event modeling, voltage and neighborhood, all put together tries to give you a part of which is the right DT where the consumer is. This has been done with 95% accuracy. The things have gone to the part of thing. Now, I'll remove the third part and I want to go into the part of Pradhan Mantri Solar Grah Yojana. I want to show that what has been done. This is the thing which has been done for the Pradhan Mantri Solar Grah Yojana, wherein the rooftops have been put with, there is a scheme of under 3 kilowatt, no inspection. Above there is inspection for that. But then the biggest part is, do we have, there is a kind of a pre-assessment. Do we have a space at the consumer end to put the meter, or do the part of a replacement, I do have a space for him. So before it goes down, the person who applies for the meter, he clicks on the part where the current meter is, and the system tells her whether he has space or not. And based on this AI intervention, my dear friends, again, and then the utility can take a decision part of whether the meter has to be allowed, whether this guy has to go for the next stage thing. When he goes for the next stage, then there is a post installation. After he has installed the rooftop, the agency who is doing it, they are trying to go, and for each of the aspect of the panels and everything, they put the part of the images, and the images what they put is being benchmarked against the part of the installation standards for that DISCOM. Somewhere the pile will not be allowed on the ground. Somewhere the piles are around the part you're putting the steel structure on the ceiling which is there. So this is where the standards which have been put together defines the part of how we can look at. This is been done along with the NICE, which is National Solar Energy. So because NICE wants to take it out to all the places where it can be looked at. It runs about training as well use of the AI to help in terms of building up the system. Thank you. And this is where I believe in power of AI is, because driving AI implementation is primarily talking about the part of understanding where my business case is, where the domain is, and then applying it in a consult-driven approach so that we get an output what you're looking at. Thank you. Thanks a lot for thinking.
Thank you so much, please, with a big round of applause for Sumaji. And thank you for taking us through the relevance of our AI and the transformative changes it's bringing for the power sector. So with that, I have once again the pleasure of inviting Mr. Murli Badru, and we have his presentation ready.
Thank you. Hopefully this time we'll get the right presentation. I will focus the talk mostly on AI applications, mostly in the what I call the operation side of things. I mean, I think a great talk by my presenter here, mostly on prognostics and planning, but let's see what we can do. I think there are a few other technologies that I'll also touch upon, really looking at blockchain, MNC technologies, and also especially focus on AI for customer service, workforce transformation, grid planning and operations, and probably show a use case where we used AMI data and AI techniques to really look at how better we can estimate customer classification and other things. Just to set the stage, again, AI has been well known across the spectrum here, as you can see, at this energy source level, supply level, and also the control room level. I mean, we are actually envisioning a future where there will be opportunities for things like large language models to really help with operators' regular day-to-day business, where they can take off a lot of looking at data and other things off their chart and really focus on decision making. I think that's what we're looking at, fully automated emerging technologies, both at the local and distributed level. And I think the opportunity is really given by the clean and renewable energy that we are looking at there. Especially before jumping into AI, I want to actually talk about blockchain and MNC technologies. I think blockchain certainly has been a primary tool for secure transactions. I think that's the thing which can make transparent and tamper-proof platform for the exchange of renewable energy information and trust among all parties involved. I mean, I know there is a lot of DUM system evolving, but as we really look at future DSO models, how better we can use how can we incentivize different DER for participating in the system, and I think that's where blockchain really fits well. In terms of immersive technologies, I think training the operator, that's going to be a big thing as we transition to more renewable and more technologies here. But I think augmented reality and also remote guidance, these are the few technologies that we are looking at. Enroll is big on digital twin. I know this is not a digital twin particular session, but I just want to quickly mention that I think that's one other technology that we really look at when it comes to de-risking technologies before they really go into the main system. Looking at predictive maintenance, streamlined collaboration among stakeholders, I think that's where we really focus on those kind of things. Now jumping on to AI, I think AI is a primary tool where we are looking at enhancing the customer service opportunities. The top left, you can actually see a chatbot. That is one thing that we kind of developed very recently to look at how operators in the operator room can ask a trustworthy algorithm like ChatGPT, but not really ChatGPT, but more focused towards power systems and towards their data and really get the answers in real time, a lot faster than what they would have to do if they have to really go and look at logs and the system of the things. That's the thing. This can go into the next level, where we are looking at personalized offerings, which can recommend things based on their regular day-to-day business operations, and also provide voice support. As it comes to, hey, we see this alarm. This is what the regular way of taking care of this, so that it can take off a lot of effort on control room operators, but really refocus on mostly the decision making. And I think there is a lot of data that is going into it. This also can look at extreme scenarios of predictive support, anticipating customer needs, and before they actually arise and have to really look at it in real time. Workforce transformation, I think I kind of touched upon this in my second slide. Data science, I think, as I was mentioning originally, large language models, also looking at a vital role in developing and deploying AI solutions for Git optimization, control, and predictive maintenance. That's one thing which we are looking at. Cybersecurity, in one of the earlier sessions, they really mentioned about cybersecurity, but AI can really play a crucial role here, really understanding the events as they come and really coming up with the options to see, hey, is this the right way to do it or not? Or is it a malicious attack on the system that is happening based on the patterns of the data that it's looking at? And also the traditional roles, which really focus on digital twin and will shift with the greater emphasis on collaborating with AI systems. That's the thing that we're looking at. With that, I'll just jump on an example that we did with the Southwestern Utility in United States. The idea here is there's actually a lot of AMI data that this utility has been collecting over the past 5 years or so. So they were trying to see how better they can look at identifying network model discrepancies, AMI-based insights, and also any visualizations. And at the end really come down to controls. So what if I don't have model-free control is what we call. What if I don't have accurate models, which is very typical with distribution utilities? Can I use AMI data and machine learning techniques to really control the system even without having to look at the overall model of the system? That's where I think we looked at. The kind of insights that we looked at in this particular thing is voltage exceedances, which is a very typical thing that we look at. Also identifying meter phase, because it's very hard to understand the phase down the lines, especially in the United States, because there is a lot of single phase networks, and can we use AMI data, train algorithms on it, and actually see, hey, is this the right phase or not? And they can actually say, no, this is on the other phase, and we can actually go back and correct the models based on that. And not only what I said, like voltage exceedances, but how critical are those, and how can we correlate them better with weather is one thing. The most recent load, or very big load I should say, is EV, and what levels do they charge? I mean, can I segregate my load into PV, EV, or I should say my load curve into PV, EV, and the normal load of the system? I think those are the kind of things that we're looking at when it comes to these kind of things. With that, I heard my first bell, so I'll actually jump onto the key takeaways. I mean, I think I talked about trustworthy AI that can actually help with operators' decision making, and we also talked about data collection and consumer privacy rights. This is where we talked about blockchain and how better we can do, and also looked at opportunities where AI can safeguard sensitive utility data and really look at operational issues that might arise as we get look at. And taking to the next level, in earlier sessions, I actually heard about regulatory compliance. I know smart meters are there for a reason. I think they're actually enabling regulatory compliance. And how can we use AI better to really take advantage of better compliance on the system? With that, thank you.
Thank you so much for taking us through the various technologies, immersive technology, AI, which is enhancing customer service, ChatGPT, and different technologies that we're using for making our customers' service better. And we'll come back to more questions. So for the next speaker presentation, may I invite Mr. S.K. Senapati, Head Sales and Commercial Services, L&T PTND Digital Energy Solution. And if we have the presentation ready, over to you.
Yeah. Good evening. First of all, thank you ISGA for giving me this opportunity. So I represent L&T Digital Energy Solutions. So we are into the area of new futuristics solutions which solve the utility problems. So if you see distribution, transmission, we have SCADA, DMS, EMS, we have field force automation, OMS, we have smart metering, IT, OT, all those things. But if we'll see what really is required to take informed decision that improves the operational efficiency of the utility, that helps to reduce the commercial losses and theft management. So some of the use cases I will show, and some of the screens which you have deployed elsewhere and in POC stage. So I'll go straight to that. This is all about digital energy. This is all AI analytics we know, where data is very important. Data is coming, but correct data has to come. So this one example I'll give a RAS of a system. It's all remote access system and automatic fault analysis system. So regularly your data comes from your breakers, your relays, your transformers. So normal case we monitor that particular parameters. But what happens in case of a fault? And what is the type of fault? So in this particular solutions, when the fault happens, the fault data through the gateway it comes to a operator in the control room, and uh, it feeds to the analysis system, and analyst software says where is the fault, what is the type of fault. So it gives the advice to the operator in the field to take the corrective action. So with that, we restore the fault quickly, and where you reduce the downtime and your commercial losses reduced. So this is where we have deployed this solution in few of the utilities. Transmission side we have done, distribution side is getting deployed. And we always train the model, then it maybe for a year or so with the historical data, then it takes its own. One thing you'll say, just these all AI advanced generation transmission distribution we all know. I'll not go into that. This is one important aspect ki how we'll manage all condition based your assets, maintain the assets based on their condition, and how it improves the life of the asset, and you defer the capex and you manage your downtime. So this is a particular case where we got the data from transformers, breakers, and we feed it to the model. We train the model first, then it will tell you which are the assets where the high risk and medium risk are critical, and based on that you see the condition of the asset, basically transformer, breaker, and you take the condition based maintenance actions. These are the few dashboards. I'm not going there. This one basically you can say transmission based asset transmission asset health monitoring. So this is basically here we all image analytics we do here. We take all images through drone and feed to the model, and the model will tell you whether there is a problem in the conductor, there is a problem in the clamp, in the transmission line or a distribution line, and accordingly the AI based the model will tell you where is the problem, and it will assign the task to the operator to take the corrective action. Some of the few of the, this is all the POC stage I can say, we have not deployed one of our solutions of digital energy of L&T. This is a vegetation management, so it is all which we have deployed with the satellite based management system, where the satellite tells you, we define the species, the growth, the corridor, and it tracks from the satellite and feed to the model. So if there is a growth, there is a from the corridor within the corridor, then it informs the operator to for the trimming and all. This is basically AIML based power theft analysis. Is all we have our smart meters in the feeder level, in the DT level, in the consumer level. So all the data you are getting in the control center. So based on the anomalies in the feeder, distribution transformer, and the consumer, so you can tell the control center where is the problem is, which feeder is a problematic, which DT is problematic, which consumer meter is problematic, or the consumer is problematic. So, and this can be extended to the field level, JE or operator level, they can also see. So, historical pattern, their seasonal pattern, all those things being monitored here and being informed and being to the operator to take corrective action. So, these are the few, the area wise, feeder wise, you can take a informed decision. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senapati, for sharing the transformative technologies that L&T Digital Energy Solutions bringing for the power sector. And I would like to extend a very big thank you for joining us as the thematic session partner for this very key session for today. With that, I would like to invite our next presenter. I have the pleasure of inviting Sri Lalit Jain, Product Head, Industrial Automation from Phoenix. Please put your hands together for Mr. Jain.
Good evening to everyone. So I'm going to talk about three key important topics, as my earlier speaker already talked about the digitalization and AI. But along with this digitalization and AI, three are the core key important pillars. First is the reliability of the assets. Second is the scalability, because technology is changing so fast. So how we can secure our capex and opex investment for a longer run. And third is the cyber security, because cyber security now it is a economical impact, not only just to take the money from the operator. Now cyber security intentionally it is like a war on our asset. So I will cover this all the important point. So our company Phoenix Contact is a global 100-year-old company into the electrical and automation, and in India we are since last 30 years. So I will go a little bit fast. So this benefit of digitalization and everything we have already talked. So first I will talk about the our utilities and main companies already adopted this concept, and they have already seen that the cyber security importance in our critical asset, because now RTU, FRTU and many electronics device which are working on the firmware, because a attack vector in any hardware can be due to three reasons. First is the supply chain, like recently we have seen in the pagers which recently happened, like in the supply chain how we can apply the security mechanism. Second, most of the electronic device run on the firmware because it have a microprocessor. So how we can tackle the firmware security? We are running our system with a secure firmware. And third is the protocol security, because when we talk about into the power industry 104, 61850 Modbus, we are using a lot of communication protocol. How this communication protocol is secure? Because when this protocol was designed many years back, the intention to make user-friendly communication into the industry, to bring industry more digitalized, but not with the intention of the cyber security. But today it is a essential requirement. And these are the key data, because this is already in our India, in our utility, many attack already happened. But fortunately, it have no big impact. But globally, if we see, there is a already few impact already noticed. So first is I will talk about the reliability part also. When we talk about the reliability, the first part is fault tolerance. Because whatever hardware we are using, it should have a fault tolerance. It may be in terms of supply, in terms of network. One hardware failure should not lead my complete system shutdown. For that, reliability is very important part of adoption. And second, the device diagnostic, because if I am increasing my load, I am increasing my device, how my network and system is sustainable, I should get some monitoring of that assets. So that is the important part. And third is the protection, because as I mentioned, we are using a lot of digitalization and AI based hardware. It means the chipset which is it is prone to surge. So that surge protection is very important part, because sometimes we see the immediate impact of the failure, or sometime, like if most of the product company they mention my hardware MTBF is 20 years, but it have a disruptive impact over the time. Surge can lead the product failure in a less years. So the surge protection device is also the very important point. And second important factor, scalability, because technology is changing so fast. Like 5 years back, cybersecurity was just topic for the IT people, not for the OT people, but now it is an important topic into the OT as well. Like 20 years back, nobody talking about the 61850 communication, but today we are talking about. So technology is changing so fast. In next 3 years, what will change? So it is very important part, like whatever capex or opex investment we are doing, it should be ready for next 10 years in a technology wise. It should be the backward compatible. It should be ready for the futures. If I have to use AI, the cloud connectivity, it may be required in the future. So how the product should be ready for the cloud connectivity in a secure way. So that scalability part must need to be checked with the utilities. So these are the just a glimpse of a hardware, like how it is scalable for the current and future market. It is scalable for the cloud connectivity. It is scalable for the current application where we can do the communication with all the assets. And other part for reliability, as I mentioned, the surge protection. So this type of product can be utilized by the utility companies, and the redundancy of the hardware level and network level can be deployed. So this type of surge protection device, which are reducing the life cycle of the hardware, it have a different type of capability, like it can start triggering over 1500 volt and can handle up to 50 kilo ohm surges. So this type of hardware is available into the market from the multiple suppliers, which can be deployed into the network. So security perspective, like this is the incidents which happened in our utility few years back. It is already noticed, and globally also there is a lot of attack. So what should be the minimum things as a users we have to adopt? Like lot of utility already adopted the global standard for it, and they have outdated the important line into their tenders, like the product must have a 62351-3. It is already Ministry of Power already released the guidelines, like 62351 for the product is must be important for the communication side, and for the product side the hardware supply chain and product firmware security 62443 is a global standard we should be adopt. The major thing about IEC 62443 as a standards, it cover the interest of all the stakeholders, for the owners, for the system integrator, for the product supplier. But the first step is the product itself must be secure from the vulnerability and security. So that adoption of 62443 as a product supplier, 62443-4-2 is the very important part. And second thing, the IT and OT security, as I mentioned, it is two different topic, because in IT, confidentiality is the important. If any attack happen, the first thing we have to disconnect the internet and safeguard the asset. But in OT, it is important part कि we have to run the production, we have to run the country, so the OT security make sure that availability. So thank you from my side.
Thank you so much, Manoj, and for I also talking about Mini's contact solution as well as highlighting the importance of cybersecurity and having the right standards. So with that, we are through with our innovative technology presentations. Now we will invite our cousins for their remarks, initial remarks, and overview about how the technologies are transforming the power sector towards the net zero. So to start with, I have the pleasure of inviting Dr. Tripta Thakur, Director General NPTI. Over to you, ma'am. Please put a give round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me and giving this opportunity. We are talking about net zero, and India has done the commitment by 2070. But in past sector, we have already started talking to achieve this goal by 2050. So if we see the importance of training and capacity building, I represent NPTI, which is the national body, apex body for providing training and capacity building, having pan-India presence, 11 centers across India. So if we talk about digitalization, NPTI is imparting training under RDSS scheme. We are the nodal agency, and we are giving training in the AMI solutions, smart meters, and so in digitalization, we are providing training. We have covered 7,000 DISCOM professionals in the past 2 years, and this year also we are going to do the similar training. So we are also coming up with the National SCADA Center with the help of PFC under RDSS scheme in Faridabad, where it is mandatory whoever is getting the SCADA, one branch of that SCADA will be in the center, and all the ISCOM engineers who are really going to use that SCADA, they will be trained and certified on that branch only. Also, in cybersecurity, we all know that this is the main threat we are going to see, and there is a certain, if you see, every day there are several attacks which are happening. So it's very important to give the certification program. So NPTEL is imparting basic, intermediate and advanced certification program in cybersecurity. So I urge all the people to do these programs. We have covered a lot of people last year, and this year also with the help of IIT Kanpur, we are doing advanced training program. Also in system certification, we are giving certification for system operators. So in all aspects of digitalization we are covering, but as far as decentralization, which is another pillar of the energy transition, we are also imparting training, and we are very much part of PM Surya Muft Bijli Yojana. And as I represent academia, I can understand the gap between academia and industry. So NPTEL is trying to produce the industry-ready professionals. So we are doing a lot of PGDCA programs in the new upcoming area. Data analytics, which is also going to play a major role, we have started giving trainings in data science, data analytics, data visualizations, and AI and generative AI also. So whatever is the area, we are covering that. Also, we know that when we are going for 500 gigawatt renewable penetration in the grid, a lot of system integration issues are going to come up. For that also, we are preparing a lot of training programs, EV also, and name anything. We are there to impart training, customized training, induction training, and I request everyone, because this thing should go out from the mind of all CEOs that training is not as necessary. Usually in India we give large priority to training and capacity building, but in the changing scenario when technology is changing, it's so important for everyone to understand and impart and make other people capacity building so that they can face the challenges which are going to come up because of the technology intervention in the coming times. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gupta. I think this angle was very crucial for this session to talk about the skilling of the workforce. We are talking about a lot of new technologies to be integrated in the energy sector for all the transformation. But unless we have the skilled workforce, it will not be a successful implementation. So please, make most of the technology skilling solutions that NPTI is offering, and before planning any new interventions, skill development is the key for success. So thank you so much once again, and I have the pleasure of inviting our next discussant for his remarks, Sri He's the Head Business Development, Sustainability and Clean Technology from BSCS Yamuna Power Limited.
Yeah, thank you. And as we are hearing right from today's morning that we are marching towards becoming net zero in 2070. So power sector has greater responsibility of contributing towards that goal, and India has to achieve 500 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2030, and we are currently at around 200 gigawatts. So rest of the 300 is to be covered in the next 5 6 years. That's a huge task and challenging task, and we are sure that with the concentrated effort of all the stakeholders, we will be achieving that, and that will be a big step towards making at least the power sector net zero, which is envisaged around 2050 to be net zero. Utility is the crucial link in the whole value chain system, and has to play an important role in the whole drive to the becoming net zero. So on the utility part, basically we can divide our operations into three compartments. One is the sourcing of power, second one is the distribution of power, and third one is the how the consumer consumes the power or the consumer end. Sourcing of power is initially it was driven by RPOs, and lately by the falling prices of renewable energy. We are having more and more renewable energy share, and there is always already rules around the resource adequacy plan, and I congratulate UPCL for making the resource adequacy plan, and my good friend Deepak was in that team. So most of the other utilities will also be following that path, and how we can integrate more and more renewable energy on the sourcing side. I can take an example of the day when India attained 250 gigawatt of peak demand, and at that point of time around 55, 52 gigawatt was coming from the solar. Imagine a situation when this amount will be doubled or tripled, around 200 to 300 gigawatt will be solar, and on daily basis within 5 to 6 time blocks in the evening, when the solar power will be diminishing, then we have to replace that power with another. Could be hydropower, fossil fuel power, energy storage. So we have to find a way to have that kind of ramping up of power sources. So whenever we are making resource adequacy plan, we have to keep that into mind, and it has to be aggregated at national level so that the entire country level planning could be done around the inputs received from all the discoms. The second one is the distribution, how we distribute. Since morning we are discussing about efficiency, dosage, operational efficiency, and all these aspects. A new trend is emerging nowadays that we could have some sort of ESG study as well. Now the RSR framework is there. So some of the utilities have already started taking steps at least to ascertain the baseline data of ESG or carbon emission. So that's a good sign. And recently, few days back, we received interest from a state transport department as well. Being a government body, it was very surprising for us that they are also keen to enter into this new field. So that's again a second compartment where we have to look and try to reduce the carbon emission in our operations by reducing AT&C and improving operational efficiency. The third one is very, very important. Conventionally, we have been chasing the peak load and designing our entire system to deliver that peak load, which remains probably a shorter duration of the percentage of the whole year on an average. And with some reliability margins, maybe if not N minus one, we are continuously investing towards that and sourcing the power just to meet the peak demand as well. So now it's time to look at the demand side interventions as well. Can we control that at the demand where it is being generated? So around that, many demand response pilots have been carried out. We at BSCS have already carried out 2, 3 automatic demand response pilot around the theme. Especially we know in the metro cities that the domestic cooling load is contributing more towards the peak load conditions. So our natural target will be that residential sector where we can implement some demand response measures as well. So all three baskets we have to work together, and I'm happy to see the different solutions with the help of AI, machine learning, and new technologies which can really help utilities to achieve its target. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ji. I know there are a lot of more initiatives you would like to put forward, but we will see if we have time. We'll come back and listen to you more on that. So thank you for sharing about those. Next, I would like to invite Shri R.S. Salaman, Vice President Technology from Stellar. This is a discussion only. I can speak from there? Okay, okay. It's a presentation. Is there a presentation? I'm sorry, I would have invited you earlier. Sorry about the confusion.
Good evening to all. So I am from Stelmec. We are the manufacturer of medium voltage switchgears. We have two plants at Mumbai and one plant at Ahmedabad. We supply pan India as well as export. And today I am going to talk about very simple to the utility customers about digital medium voltage switchgear, how to convert to digital substation for the entire supplied VCB panel from Stelmec. We have supplied more than 2 to 3 lakhs circuit breaker to the utilities. So that we want to give the simple solution, low cost, IoT based substation, so that you can able to make the digital substation. So that, of course, for which we have to convert the medium voltage switchgear into digital form. So why the switchgear is needed? Of course, everybody knowing from generation to the distribution.
Sorry, here. This side, this side. I just wanted you to come closer to the mic, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the production needed so that everywhere you can operate from that digital form, whether SCADA or IoT based, so that the entire network can be protected as well as you can have the data and everything. So that to make it, you need to make the first switchgear to digital form. So to make the switchgear to digital form, normally shunt trip already is that you can operate from the remote. Closing coil is that you can operate remote. Spring charge motor will operate. Auxiliary contacts are available. Today we are having digital relay and trajectory meter also digital form, and we can have that motor operated air switch, so that even from the remote you want to give the shutdown, you switch on that breaker, you can draw out and you can switch on the earth. You can tell that the people, those want to do maintenance, they can do the maintenance. So to operate that breaker out also, rack in, rack out also, motor operated rack in, rack out is there, so that you can rack out and make the things. And so that because of that, the switchgear become it is suitable for the digital platform. Then we will come for the IoT based substation automation. Very simple, because all the devices from any transformers or the circuit breakers brought to the only one gateway. One substation need only one gateway. After that, either you connect both the Wi-Fi, the gateway can be connected to Wi-Fi, and also both it can be sent to push the data to the cloud network. So once you connect to that Wi-Fi, the local operator can switch on the breaker, can see from the relay, from the trajectory meter, can control the entire substation. And if the other authority, higher authority like the AE or executive engineer, they want to see the substation status, they can able to see the substation from the home. That is we established this one. We are doing the pilot so that only one gateway necessary. It is the lowest cost to establish the substation in the digital form. So we are doing now pilot work from some Andhra and Rajasthan. After that, we will be, of course, progress in our supplied panel actually. Of course, SCADA, everybody knowing this going on the SCADA with RTU or IEC 650. This is the latest technology. It is going on in the digital form. So after that, I want to make one dispute. During we are talking about digital disk form, everything. this is the message for the utility customer only. Because today all the digital meters, either relay, trajectory meter, all are taking 1 VA, 2 VA only. But still, customer specifications are there, current transformer, voltage transformer, 30 VA, 5P10, 15 VA, 5P10. So that when relays are coming with 1 VA, 2 VA, because of that, the cost of the relay, cost of the CT, 15 VA, 5P10 and 30 VA, 5P10 double the cost. Like this, of course, 15 VA 5P10, 15 VA 5P20 also very costly. So that now that the board can think about, make it 5 VA 5P10 like this, the cost of the CTs, cost of the PTs, even 25 VA PTs can come down everything. So that you can make the switchgear with the compact, and the cost also will be reduced, and the input material also will be reduced because of the consumption everything. By the way, so this is our product ranges, because today CTs are available instead of bigger. Nowadays, the lower we have all the digital sensors are available, so that here also cost also will be less. All that input signal will be converted into digital display. So that it is so that we request the utility customer can able to see, and also whatever the supplied panel, now that we are ready for that making substation with the IoT based with the lower cost. So with this, of course, this is a factory. I will just finish it up. Thank you very much for this, given the opportunity.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Mr. Selvan, for this presentation and details about the technology you are bringing for the energy sector. So with that, I have the pleasure of inviting our next discussant, Sri Ayush Kumar, CEO of Sai Computers. Over to you.
Yeah, good evening everyone. So first of all, I would like to thank UPPCL and ISGF for this opportunity. We are proud to be a partner for this program. And basically, our organization, Sai Computers Limited, provides consulting services and analytics to many distribution companies across India. And in the states of Meghalaya and Tripura, we are a distribution franchisee ourselves, primarily in rural areas, two rural areas of both the states. Today I would like to share some of our experience there in tough conditions in the northeast, and how some emerging technologies have helped us in dealing with the issues and challenges there. Before going into the details, I would like to just give you the context on what the challenges were. For example, in Meghalaya, when the area was handed over to us, the losses were 87%. And it's a very remote and hilly region with very sparsely populated, and the weather is also very tough to handle. So 6 months of heavy rains, multiple disasters every year. So it becomes a challenge for any utility or any distribution company to deal with it. So and again, apart from that, the outreach to the consumer was very tough as it is, because many consumers were not even connected to the mobile network and those sort of things, and road networks, etc. So in that context, I am basically sharing our experience of how some AI-based technologies can help in these sort of areas, primarily rural areas, which is like we feel is very important for a country like India, where still about 60 to 70% population lives in such areas. So what we did was that when we took over, we identified what the main problems are. So the first thing we found was that most of the consumers were not on the ledger. So what we did was we made a geolocation tool. So I would like to say, first we built an AI platform for ourselves, through which we can build many small solutions instead of a single big solution. We have created an array of 12 to 13 small solutions which have helped us tackle different challenges. So we made a geolocation tool which helped us in increasing the number of consumers on the ledger. So we were handed over about 10,000 consumers. We now have about 30,000. So using different kind of data like GIS, satellite imagery as well as census data, we were able to speed up that process. Then we thought, what is the next challenge? It was basically theft detection and billing. So we built a basically meter verification tool. So most utilities these days have spot billing in place with photo meter reading. But what we did was we analyzed those images for meter faults, any kind of thefts, any kind of practices by workforce which can be tackled. So that helped us reduce many kind of losses. Then we thought that next challenge is that we are not getting the payments regularly, collection efficiency is low. So what we did was we built a prediction tool which as of any day it can give us a prediction that in next 30 days what is the probability of any consumer paying up. So that made our collection efforts very focused. We were able to divide consumer into segments, which are agricultural consumers, what would their habits be, which are the basically consumers who are in a job, what would their habits be, which are the businesses, which are the commercial areas, what kind of business they are in, and again, which are the tough consumers. So in every area, there are some consumers who will not pay whatever you do. So we also identified those. Uh, then again, as a franchisee, our first thing was our financial stability. When we achieved that, we found that still the consumer was not happy. So then we went for predictive maintenance, etc. So we built. So as I told you, the disaster situation there is very rough. So there are multiple rains, floods, and etc. So what? Just 1 minute. So we built an image analytics tool which helped us identify which nodes are more critical. And as of today, we have replaced more than 500 poles which were more critical, and which helped us in reducing the restoration time during floods to less than 50% of what it was before. So again, I close at this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayush for talking about all the technology interventions that you're bringing. And I would also encourage you all to please visit the exhibition and for further discussions with all our partners who are here to get more details about the technologies and the different use cases that they are bringing. So with that, I have the pleasure of inviting Shri Sandeep Sinhaji, Vice President Sales from Brilliant Inc. Over to you.
Thank you very much. I understand I'm the last speaker or maybe the second last. Okay. So I'll quickly wrap up. I mean, I belong to the media communication industry, which is primarily working on the data collection and also helping in using those data in an effective way. So one of the services what we have brought in and we feel it is quite futuristic is analytic as a service. And there what we are doing is we are using the historical data from the meters for a certain period of time, say for nearly a year, and hourly data of voltage and power which is consumed by the consumers, and we use that information to make our model learns based on the fuzzy logic, and the model gets the learning from that to understand that what is the correlation that exists between a cluster or set of similar consumptions pattern, and it basically creates that correlation between power and voltage. There is a PV curve which exists, a relationship between power and voltage. So it creates that, and then that model which has done that learning is used to find the non-technical losses by running the information on real time from the field, and then it gives a kind of a prediction as which are the meters which are having high probability of high non-technical losses. Non-technical losses is primarily what we can say as the theft. So with that, one can get the suspicious list of the suspicious meters, pinpoint those areas, go there. The utilities person can be designated to go and check what is the possibility that those things are happening, and with that they can find and plug in those gaps which are happening. This is something which is, losses are certainly very critical, not only from the perspective of you protecting the revenue, but also from the aspect that, those leakages, if it goes undetected, you are not able to really know what is the actual consumption and what are the plannings you need to do for your future demand and so how to plug in the demand supply gap. So it actually results in many of those benefits which gives utilities the leverages to use this information. We have done some pilots with some of the utilities in southern American countries on a data size of 500,000 meters, and that has proven to be a kind of given accuracy of somewhere around 75 to 80%. So whatever data came out, whatever NTL meters were identified and NTL customers identified, 80% were actually found to be having some problem. So this is something which I feel is a very innovative and upcoming technology in this field, which is being deployed and done by Trillium. And we do it as a analytics as a service. So you don't need to own the software and the tools and everything. It's just like we take the data, we do the analysis, and we give the report, and that can be done on a routine basis. So, as we are talking about emerging technology, I think this is one of the emerging technologies which will be quite helpful in going forward, and certainly it will directly or indirectly lead to those facilitation of that meeting the target of net zero, which is the final objective. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sinha, for sharing about the fuzzy logic that Trident is really bringing for reduction of AT&C losses, which is a big pain point for all the utilities and for the revenue generation. So with that, I think that brings us to the last discussion. With us, Shri Anish Mandal is the partner with Deloitte.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations, BBC. It's fantastic and successful. So I'll start with a little bit of a net zero context itself. So, of course, we all know that India is poised to grow a minimum of 7 to 8% for the next, at least a decade or so, or next decade. Means is if you do a kind of a modeling over the overall how the demand pans out, it would be somewhere around 14,000 terawatt hours by 2070, and 55% of that would be industry, right? So the industry would be contributing more than 50% of 55% of the energy demand, and the rest of it will come from transport and buildings. So that's the way it's planned out. Now, what that implies is, from a net zero perspective, we have a supply which is on the renewables more than 2,000, 4,000 gigawatt of solar, 1,500 gigawatt of wind, all of the nuclear and hydro potential is exhausted, and it's reliant on more and more renewables. So the implications are twofold. So you'll have when you have a 5 to 10% of penetration in the grid, you just kind of do enhancements in the grid to take care of it. But when it's more than that, you do a transformation of the utility operations to absorb that. And we are all talking about that transformation of the utility operations to different technologies. And the technologies of the future are AI and blockchain. So what it means is, I say, spoken about several AI, Gen AI use cases as well as blockchain. So for example, P2P trading, all of that will come. But one of the use cases which probably hasn't been discussed yet is, which will come, is the demand side management by the utilities itself. And globally, if you see the demand side management by the utilities, the BPPs or the aggregators, what we call the major role is played by the utility. The utility creates a platform, which is, say, for example, NLX is a platform where the entire demand side management is. So these are some of the things which the utilities needs to adapt and change their operations. We all know that the major part of utilities cost is the power procurement cost, and therefore there is a lot of automation and innovations happening in that itself. We do a lot of demand forecasting, optimization, all of that in several utilities, and I can proudly say that there are several algorithms which are in play, but these algorithms are not working and not working for reasons. But real success will be actually happening when you have data coming from AMI or various sources or other sources as well, and complete demand forecasting without any manual things can be done. And we are proud to be associated with some of the utilities doing that successfully, and our MAPE has been below 1% in real time. So that's some success which is already there. There are a few other use cases of AIs and AI which are again getting a lot of traction. One is we spend a lot of time as utilities in procurements, right? Procuring of several tendering or I'm saying equipment as well as consulting services and all of that, where we ask for various documents to be uploaded, EMDs and all of that. That is successfully been kind of deployed through a GenAI platform, that the entire procurement could be completely automated with no manual interventions. Such has been the testing, such has been bias and saying all of that has been done. So there are European utilities which have successfully kind of deployed that. So those are use cases which we tried to test it in the utilities context. We are very, very successful. There are regulatory use cases in the AI GenAI, particularly I'm saying, where regulatory orders and regulations are now being drafted by GenAI. Okay? So you feed, I'm saying, you feed with so much of information that GenAI is able to draft a regulatory order the way you want. So, but what is impacting or what will be impactful for the utilities also is to have a kind of a similar understanding that these are black boxes. Unless and until you have capabilities within the utility to test it out, test with use cases or run these in shadow with your parallel operations, you will never be able to say whether whatever these black boxes are throwing at you are correct or not. So therefore, the IT department will become more and more transformational and more powerful. And therefore, Adam's comment was, you need to do your capacity building and training in such a way that it will be all kind of take going forward. To be very honest, if we don't do that, it will affect our careers, our lives, everything, and that's what I think as a professional services organization, what we have realized is when we started our journey in this sector, almost like 17, 18 years we have been in the sector only doing work. So we were doing more strategy, market, and all of that. In the last 2-3 years, I think it's 90% tech, right? So, and we all have been non-traditional tech guys, but we now only do tech, right? So that's the transformation that we all have to do in the utility landscape, and that's happening very fast. So there are one more aspect of it, which is again very important. One is cybersecurity, of course. The other one is there will be various deep fakes which will also be start coming in your way, AI there. So several such things across your domain, which is like a lot of interactions, and therefore deep fakes like which are actually completely taking your customer interaction or something like that might cause various types of fraudulent activities. So again, there would be capabilities within the utility to kind of address those aspects as well when you are an AI, Gen AI or any kind of technology. So these are some of the points which I thought discuss.
Thank you so much, Ayushi, for talking about all the key parameters that the utilities need to take care of in this transformative journey. So with that comes to an end of all the presentations and discussion remarks. But with the permission of our chair, we would take up a few questions from the audience for our panelists as well as presenters. So, mics. Anyone has any question? I think it's very low on energy now, being the last session for the day. So, sir, over to you for your remarks, sir. Thank you.
I would have been surprised if somebody asked a question. I think everybody's a bit low on the energy side. Technology is inevitable. All of us understand that. In the power sector, there are two main sides of technology. One is the transition which is happening from the traditional way of generation, transmission and distribution to the how we are putting the green energy into it. The grid stability, the demand side management, the load management, or we want to manage the peaks through TOD, without TOD. That is going to be one huge part of the technology. The other part is where utility use it for their own operational and efficiency improvements. Where we use where the theft is happening, or where the collections are going to come, or where our operations need more maintenance, where there is a need for intervention in terms of our system is old, it is slightly broken, or needs to be fixed. And third side is the consumer, where the consumer gets the benefit of the much better service, much pure serve, their own doorsteps. Well, a lot of people here are from my offices as well. That all these technologies need to be adopted as per what your system or your infrastructure is attuned to. What happened in one particular utility might not be applicable to you in totality. You need to take first steps which way they become relevant to you, and then you start adopting them or adapting to them as the requirement is yours. So there is no perfect system. You first go for the good and then gradually you increment into the perfection. We a lot of times have this tendency of adopting or copying something from somewhere else and believing it chal jayega, without knowing the hard work which is one in the other utility or the private entity in reaching the level which you are looking at. So while you just adopt the technology, you have to also adopt the work culture, the training, the checks and balances, a lot of hard work into training your people to do a different thing in a different way, process re-engineering. So all these tech adoption has all these aspects to it as well, which all of us have to be very prof. Cyber security we have already spoken about. We covered mostly all the aspects. I thank all the panelists for really doing a 360 degree of the entire sector. And my last point is all the big companies also have a huge tech vertical now, and as Anushri said, that's now become 80-90% of their functions. At the same time, there are a lot of startups as well. We as a utility, as UTPCL, have been encouraging startups, and we like a lot of startups to come and start working. But startups need to have an integrity of technology. They have to do the due diligence and hard work. एक जगह एक success is not going to take them very long. So while we welcome startups, we also want to tell them that startup, just being a startup and doing one good project does not qualify you to become a great company. You have to really work hard and keep working hard on that. And that's why big names have been able to sustain it, because now they're also slipping on it gradually. So with that, I'd like to conclude this session. Thank you so much for being a very, very patient audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And I would like to pass on back to our MC for the session, Ashima Oti.
Thank you, distinguished participants, for sharing such useful insights, and to Ms. Reena Suri for moderating the session so well. I would like to request Ms. Reena to hand over the token of appreciation to our esteemed panelists. Mr. Murali Bagu. Okay, we'll start with the chair, Mr. Pankaj Kumar. Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Mr. Murali Bagu. Mr. Sumit Gupta. Mr. Senapati. Mr. Lalit Jain. Srimati Tripta Thakur. Mr. Mukesh Dadij. Shri R.S. Selvam. Mr. Ayush Kumar. Mr. Sandeep Sinha. Mr. Anish Mandal. And I will be handing the token of appreciation to Ms. Reena Suri. Thank you once again, everyone. And with this, we'll have a quick group photograph with our esteemed panelists.